Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. This is episode 16. I'm your host, Thaddeus. Shout out to my producer, boy band, John. What's up, John? All right, so here we go. Shout out to our sponsors, Defend Hawaii and Detail Garage Hawaii. Right now, you can get 15% off anything you purchase upon checkout. Use promo code ATBpod. That's at defendhawaii.com. 15% off ATBpod. And also detailgaragehawaii.com, 15% off. Same promo code ATBpod upon checkout, and that'll get you 15% off whatever you order. Okay, today my guest is the current Miss Asia Hawaii, and her name is Cami. What's up, Cami? How are you doing?
Hi, Thad. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
So you're the current Miss Asia Hawaii, right? But you won last year.
So 2019.
Okay.
I won in 2019, and I am still the reigning title holder.
Okay, is that because of COVID and they couldn't do another pageant, or?
Yeah, so that is due to COVID. We have not had our pageant, so I didn't give up my title yet.
Oh, so you get to run the crown for another whole year.
It's indefinite, so we'll see what this year brings.
Okay, so if they don't have another pageant because of COVID, then you can maybe be Miss Asia Hawaii for 3 years. Possibly. That would be a record, right? Wouldn't that be a record?
Definitely a record, yes.
So, can you explain to me a little bit about that pageant? I heard a little bit about it, but is it like the Narcissus one or like?
So the cherry, I ran in the Cherry Blossom, which is a cultural pageant, just like the Narcissus pageant. And the Miss Asia pageant is a little bit different. It's not really a cultural pageant. It's a local pageant. And it's something that I believe there is an age range, but you do have to be Asian to run in it.
So you look Hapa, right? So you must be a mix. Like you're not total Asian, are you?
No, not okay. Total Asian.
Total, me neither. So how did you get into pageants? Like I kind of like, I know a few people that entered, and it's a big deal when you enter, and like it consumes a lot of your free time. So how did you ever even start into getting into that stuff?
It wasn't even something that I ever wanted to get into. You know, my tutu, which is my dad's mom, she helped to raise me, and my parents separated when I was 3, and my tutu was basically a consistent mother figure in my life. And so I would deal with issues of self-esteem, and she enrolled me in modeling school to build my self-esteem, my self-confidence. And naturally through modeling school, I eventually signed on with the agency that I was taking classes from. And from there, I just naturally went into running and getting the confidence to run in the Cherry Blossom pageant because it was something different from most pageants. I found out you could wear a kimono and learn more about your culture. So I ran for the Cherry Blossom pageant.
Oh, that's pretty good. So you went to modeling school. Okay, I want to know what kind of things do they teach you in modeling school?
So I grew up with 2 brothers, and my neighbors were mostly guys. I have a lot of guy cousins, you know, a lot of male influence in my life. And I used to be this tomboy, you know, playing sports with the guys. And I even have, you know, my skateboard to this day. And so it's kind of rugged. And I think my tutu wanted to help me to become more feminine. And
so you basically were like this little moat chick, and then she tried to kind of get that part. Like, okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I could be like part of the boys. And once I enrolled in modeling school, I was kind of bummed out. I found out, you know, we had to walk on this runway, put on some heels and a dress. And it was actually a blessing in disguise. And so we learned how to walk, you know, a little bit of acting, things that you need to know when you go to an audition. And just how to pose and, present yourself.
Well, that's kind of cool. It's kind of like skills that you would probably utilize in your adult life now that you need. It's just like muscle memory now. It probably helps you a lot now that you went to that
Absolutely.
school.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so you were in modeling school and now you entered your pageant. And then how crazy is that life? Like, it's usually like a month of different kind of activities and stuff, right?
So basically, I believe it's what you make of what you're given. And, with the Miss Asia Hawaii title, I was already involved in nonprofit work. So I serve on the local Young Advisory Board for Salvation Army, which is called Echelon. And we do a lot of work in the community. And in addition to that, when I became Miss Asia Hawaii, I wanted to use that title to give back even more, but in particular to my former elementary school, which is Kanoilani Elementary. And
No, go ahead.
And so I was a part of their first outdoor welcome back assembly, and this was all pre-COVID. I even got to speak to some of the students about entrepreneurship. I once owned a mobile boutique back in the day, and I brought some of my pageant sisters with me, and we read to the second graders. So
that's pretty cool.
It was something that was a goal of mine if, I was able to get this title, because I feel it's something that, would inspire and bring hope to them. And I even got to share, there was a day where they recognized, non-bullying. And I got to go up in front of the students and talk about how I was bullied, which wasn't a term so commonly used back then, about my name and my situation when I would get called out of class to see a counselor, because my dad had set that up for me when he and my mom were getting a separation.
Okay, so you were basically bullied back in the day. I can relate. I was bullied too, and that kind of helped mold me into the person I am. And yeah, it definitely resonates with me. So because of your platform now as Miss Asia Hawaii, you get like a lot of opportunity to go out in the community as Miss Asia Hawaii and speak about your life lessons, and you can kind of like inspire kids and let them know like, okay, well, this is what happened to you, and now you can look forward into like becoming a better person or whatever, know that they can get through whatever because you did, right? Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yes. Totally.
Well, that's good because now you have an extra year to be doing this stuff in the community again.
Oh yeah,
right?
It's a huge blessing. In fact, tomorrow afternoon, I am surprising. Well, I think they kind of know. I think the principal gave them a heads up, but I am surprising the teachers with a little welcome back lunch. They're losing their hours and it's affecting their pay. And I was doing a lot of things for the students during my first year as Miss Asia Hawaii. And so, because I've been blessed with another year, I reached out to a friend of mine who just opened this pasta place, and we're going to give back some pasta bowls. So I don't know if you heard of neopastology, but if you think of pieology, it's basically building your own pasta in a bowl.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
They have like pasta bars at like buffets. I guess that's kind of similar. Or no?
Yeah. And a bunch of other people heard about what I'm doing. And I have a lot of other friends that are going to be a part of this. And it's become this event. It just started off.
That's awesome. And it's something that you built.
Well, I guess the principal was telling people too. And so some other companies are chipping in donuts and cookies. And
oh, nice.
You'll just have to stay tuned for tomorrow.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so back to like your pageant, like during the pageant itself. Like I always want to know, like when the girls win, they're like, oh, happy for each other. Like I want to know if that's bullshit or like, are you generally like the person that didn't win? Like, are they like, is it like how it seems on TV when I watch them, or like behind the stages, like, oh, I hope this bitch doesn't win, or like, I hope like okay, like, because I don't know, I would assume like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I know like you want to win, but like, how is it with the other girls? You guys seem happy for each other, but I want to know if it's real.
For my experience for both pageants, it was a genuine experience, and we all did get along.
Oh, and are you friends with them now?
I don't see them. I see, my the girls that are currently involved, or the current title holders with other titles within my system. So I see them quite
Oh,
often.
that's cool. So you guys do form a bond and a friendship, and
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. That makes it more cool to watch then, you know what I mean? Knowing that you guys generally are friends and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's exciting. So did you get nervous when you entered a pageant, or it's like, okay, I got this, or
Oh, I definitely get nervous a lot. And it was kind of a unique experience. I remember the night before, my phone broke and I couldn't use it. And I had accidentally dropped it, and this alarm sounded, and somehow my phone called 911. And so all I could hear, because I couldn't use my phone, I couldn't even press anything. All I could hear was this operator come on, and she asked if I'm trying to call them, and I was like, no, I'm trying to explain to her the situation, and she's like, okay. So I attempt to use my phone again, and it starts calling 911. The operator comes back on, and I try to explain the story again to her, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to touch this phone. So the next day, I was stressing out, trying to figure out how I'm going to get in touch with my friend who was supposed to do my hair and makeup, my other girlfriend who was helping me, train behind the scenes, and just family and friends who were coming to support me. So I had to find other means and using other people's phones. But it was such a blessing in disguise, because when we were backstage, everyone was getting their hair and makeup done, changing into their outfits, and they were all on their phone. And it was the first time in my life where I was so present in the moment. I had no stress. And I think if I was on my phone, it would have given me much more anxiety.
Oh, that's true. That makes
And
sense.
but on top of that, my friend who was doing my hair and makeup had an emergency. So I had my hair in curlers, half of my makeup done, and all the girls were ready to go on stage. And she had to leave. And so my other friend stepped up, my best friend Tiare, and she looked at me and I looked at her, and she just started helping me. And
Oh, that's awesome.
we just had to wing it.
Was she
And
a makeup artist, or she just
she's just my,
oh
she does makeup really well, but her forte, is in real estate. And and pageant, she's actually a pageant director of a different system. But we got through it. I prayed a lot, and I was one of the first who had to go on stage to do the opening number.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was so nervous.
But I guess with all that drama going on, it kind of maybe you couldn't really focus on what you had to do, so that might have been a good thing. You less anxiety, or maybe it caused you more. I don't know, but
The phone,
must have been okay if you won.
the phone situation was a blessing in disguise, yes. But when the whole hair and makeup thing happened, I think it helped this might sound weird, in a weird way, it helped me to focus on that instead of actually going out on stage.
Yeah, that's what I was trying.
Because had everything gone smoothly, I think I would have been so in my head, which is how I used to be, and not be able to go out there and give it my all.
Well, that's kind of cool. Maybe that's God's way of kind of helping you get ready for this thing, and you won, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how is winning? Like, they put on the crown and everything, and that must be an unreal feeling.
I was so thankful. I cried inside, and I just asked God if it was meant to be, for me to do this, then to just let it happen and, move through me through this title and this opportunity to do as much as I can with whatever he wants me to do.
Well, it seems like it, and I'm kind of glad that you got to do it, and because of that, you got to reach out and do good things for the community. What was do you guys, for that pageant, do you guys have to do like a skill, or what is it? Like
It was
some people
optional.
dance, some people, okay.
It was optional to perform.
Yeah,
And
performance. That's what I was looking for.
like the opening number. I didn't. And
How come? Wait, how come?
I haven't performed salsa in so long, right? And
Okay, so that was I was trying to get at, because I see your Instagram and you're into dance and like you do salsa, and I watch your videos. I'm like, whoa, like the salsa, you gotta have attitude, and that's what I notice when you do it. The attitude you have is strong when you dance. It's kind of cool to see, because I guess the way that particular dance is, the attitude, and it just all has to be together. But like, how did you even get into salsa? That's kind of a random thing for a Hapa girl in Hawaii to get into. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't even know salsa dancing existed. I grew up dancing since I was 3 years old. And as much as I used to be a tomboy, I think, this helped me to become more feminine when I got into modeling school. And, I tried ballet, tap, hula, Tahitian. And when I tried salsa, it was actually through an ex-boyfriend of mine. And I was like, why not? And so at first I did not like it. I thought it was so difficult. I just couldn't get the musicality, the footwork, and I loved the music, love, the culture, love eating salsa, but I just couldn't get it. So there was another type of dance called bachata, and bachata is more sensual and it's a little bit easier footwork wise and pattern wise. So I stuck with that. And naturally, I just gravitated towards salsa. And it has become my passion. And it's so different from hula, from ballet, Tahitian. I even did tap dance. It just naturally, became me.
so
And
is it
it's
hard
actually
to
a
do?
little bit of like hula, some of the hip and foot movements in bachata. Ballet, I feel, has helped tremendously, with splits and some of the flexibility that we need, especially when I performed it.
So you gotta wear heels when you dance that, right?
Yes.
I know. I noticed that. I'm thinking, like, how can, like, for one thing, I don't understand how girls can even walk in heels, but to dance and move that fast with heels on, like, your ankles must be strong.
So there's a trick. Not only do you need to dance in heels, but you need to dance on the balls of your feet. Anytime you put your heel down, it's dangerous.
I can
So there are
imagine.
times when you can, but majority of the time you're on the balls of your feet. And for us to be on the performance team, we have to wear 3-inch heels, minimum.
Oh, so you're on a
On the
performance
balls of your
team.
feet the entire
Oh,
time.
man.
And so it's all about core, having a strong core. People, I get to tense up in my neck and my shoulders when I do things. And so that affects posture, that affects dancing, that affects your spinning. And it's a lot. It doesn't look like it, but it's a lot. So it's
It
not just
seems like
attitude.
it.
Yeah. There's so many things that are, you have to think about and just make it look seamlessly or seamless.
So you kind of got to be in shape to do salsa then, like, not like so like, it seems like you could hurt yourself if you're not.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to be in shape, but there is a certain level when, you're on a performance team.
So explain to me the performance team for salsa. Like, what does that mean? You guys go out and perform,
Oh, it's it
or you
requires
compete?
it's like a part-time job. So for the dance company that I was a part of, the couple learned and trained and used to perform in New York. So there's this thing called Salsa On One and On Two, and it's all about the footwork. And so I learned both styles, and I love Salsa On Two, which is a New York style, and that's the style that we performed while I was on the dance team. And so on top of going to rehearsals, which is about 3 hours, two to three times a week. It's been a few years. We also had to attend class, regular class, dance class, at least once a week. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. And then after a certain point, they asked if I would teach. And they said if I could teach, then I would become a better dancer. And I was the only one on the dance team that taught salsa. So we were going to class, we were going to rehearsal, and after regular class, I would teach, and then I would rehearse. So Monday nights, I remember we had classes. Wednesday was rehearsal. Saturday was taking a class, teaching class, and then going to rehearsal.
Gee, that sounds more like a full-time job.
I know, full time, and I had my mobile boutique going on.
Oh, so you had no free time.
I actually used to sleep for 3 hours a night, and I did that for 3.5 years.
So the performance team, where would you guys perform?
We would perform. Where did we perform? Outdoor events. A lot of times we would open up the dance studio. You know, I guess it's a thing in the mainland where because it already has the right dance floor for our dance shoes, it would just make sense to open it up, invite people, and perform in the dance studios.
That's pretty cool. So as of now, do you still teach or what, or you just dance for fun or?
Currently, I am dancing for fun. I got asked to perform in less than 2 weeks for a private event. And it's funny because one of my salsa sisters and we were actually going to start a dance team. And so I feel like it's kind of working backwards, where we're performing before we even start this dance team. So I literally had to learn a choreo in an hour last Saturday to perform this, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And we're just doing the small number because we were given such short notice. You know, we have to find outfits still yet and mask because we're still in COVID. And
that's right.
And I still have to perfect it. So this is just going to be a small number of what we were actually going to do as a dance team. And it's going to be this all-ladies dance team. We have our name and logo and some other things. So
what's the name?
I can't share it yet.
What? No, nobody's listening to this. You can tell me.
And stay tuned because we are working on having some dance classes. That's in the works.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that seems to be like your passion.
Yes. Besides fitness, it's a huge passion of mine.
All right. Well, definitely let me know what your name is and if you're gonna start teaching again. Did you used to go to Judah? Judah used to hold salsa nights, right?
Yeah, I met Judah through salsa.
Okay. Yeah, I knew him for a while. He's a DJ, and shout out to Judah. He's been doing that for years and giving people who like to dance salsa somewhere to go, and where we promote on District, they would do it on Wednesdays or Thursdays. I can't remember.
One of those days I went a few times, yes.
He would have that place pretty packed, right?
Yeah, so I'm a huge I'm not into regular clubs, but salsa clubs is like all about dancing. People don't really go there to drink, so I think The bartenders used to be bummed out when it was salsa night.
Oh,
We would just want water all night long. I miss it. Now we just dance with mask, and there's just a few of us.
all right. Well, I guess like you said, you have to be in shape and fit to dance salsa. So you must do other fitness stuff, right? Like, so what do you do to stay in shape to be able to dance salsa? Salsa.
Salsa. I have a personal trainer that I met a couple of years ago at UFC, and during COVID, he was working on building his own place. So it kind of worked for him. And now he works, full-time for himself and opened up his own fitness or his own gym. And he even built out a brand new dance studio. So it kind of just all worked out for the better.
What's the gym's name?
It's called John Strength and Motion. So his name is Jonathan, and it's part of his name is in his business name.
Okay, so what kind of is it like CrossFit or like you pounding weights or like what do you do what do you do with the personal trainer?
So it's this program, this whole regimen that I'm on. It's not just about working out. Yes, I lift weights. I used to be intimidated. I only started lifting weights a couple years ago, but lifting weights doesn't necessarily, mean that you're going to be bulky or, it's the way people perceive it, right? Because they normally see guys lifting, but girls can lift and still be feminine at the same time.
For sure.
And he incorporates nutrition, and I am doing really well in my training program, but not so well on my nutrition. And I'm learning about macros, trying to maintain my macros, and it's a lot of protein.
That's crazy. I don't know. Like for me, it's hard to like kind of curve my diet because I like to eat everything. But when I used to train and compete, I would have to kind of diet and that becomes your lifestyle. So you're choosing to do it. So that's kind of a cool thing. It just, it tests your mental discipline, right? It kind of makes you focus on what you need to do. And then when you're in a position where, okay, should I eat that extra piece of cake or something like that? You got to mentally fight through it, right? I don't know. That's what happened to me.
Well, here's something interesting, right? So if you think of it, food is energy and energy is life. And I noticed a huge difference when I first started training him. He did not convince me to go on any type of diet. He tried to convince me to eat healthier. He's a vegan, but was not always a vegan. I used to be a huge meat eater. My dad would make me steak every week. I can eat like a guy, as I've been told. And even though I don't drink, people would think, oh, she's a cheap date, but I know how to eat. And so my dad would, growing up, I have half brothers and step siblings. Well, when we would have family dinners, my dad would buy me my own steak, and everyone else would share a steak. And if there was like rotisserie chicken, the one from Sam's Club or Costco.
Yeah.
Everyone would share it, and he would buy me my own rotisserie chicken. So I
can pound a whole chicken.
Yes.
Oh, I can't even do that.
And if anyone ate my food, I would get Cami hangry, and everyone would know, like stay away. And so the point I'm trying to make is that when I stopped eating red meat and poultry, I noticed a huge difference in my energy. I had more energy. And I have eventually, become pescatarian. I can't not eat seafood because it's something that I grew up with, and it has a lot of meaning to me. My grandpa's brother was a fisherman, so he would always come to my grandparents' house, drop off fresh fresh fish.
Oh, yeah.
And, I would have like sashimi, poke, dried fish, fried fish, and the whole works. And so eating fish makes me happy. And I just have like this different energy, now that I'm eating healthier and cut out a lot of things that I realized were bad for me.
So it seems like you're pretty in shape. You're doing good on your diet, and you're pretty healthy and strong, I would assume. But so that would kind of make me think, okay, so you're healthy, but how's your mental health? Like,
Good
I
question.
know it's a problem in a lot of people, and like I've helped friends who had mental health issues, and it's not something that is easy to talk about, and it's something that means a lot to me because I know people that had issues and that are no longer here, and for me it becomes something very serious. And I know for you had a couple situations where mental health was an issue. And how is your mental health now, knowing that you're fit physically? You have to balance it out with your mental health as well.
Honestly, my mental health, I'm in a much better place currently. Last year, it was hard. I struggled with it. And I also struggled with it when I was 13 years old. So just, a few years ago, because I'm only like in my
21, huh?
Yeah. Kidding. All jokes aside, I did attempt to commit suicide when I was 13 years old. And I mean, to be at a place where I am now and to be able to tell people that I overdosed on over 50 plus Tylenol and Advil pills, I feel like I've come a long way. I have really great people in my life. I, surround myself with different types of people. I pray a lot. I read a lot of books, a lot of podcasts, and I don't just read or listen to this information. I actually, act upon it. And I've just been learning to incorporate a lot of lagom into my life. And a big part of that.
Wait. What does that word mean?
Lagom. So
yeah, that's the one.
lagom, Lagom. So, the OM, when people are like talking about Om, it's a state where you are just present and you just have more peace in your life.
Okay.
So I really.
Wait, what is that word again? How do you say it?
Lagom, Lagom.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
And if you just think about, the OM and the word lagom, it's easier to resonate. And
okay, I need more lagom, I think.
So prayer, meditating, and definitely something interesting that has been helping me is something that my trainer offers, which is called FST, and that stands for Fascia Stretch Therapy.
Okay, I know about that. That's
fascia
awesome.
Stretch Therapy. Yeah, so fascia is like yoga in the fitness world, right? Yoga is like this new, or it's been, this new and exciting thing. Well, fascia in the fitness and the what do you call it? More so, I guess, in the fitness and in the health industry has been very instrumental, and it's like this up and coming, term and thing. And so it's like a stretch technique and a massage all in one, and it helps me, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And you just have to experience it to understand what it feels like. But I get that at least once a week, and it also helps with my flexibility and training. I am able to lift heavier. And I don't know if that helps answer your question about mental health. But
so what kind of advice would you give to somebody who kind of has like a little bit of trouble with mental health and kind of down, like for me, what I have done in the past, like if I was bummed out about something or I was going through tough times, is I kind of rely a lot on my friends, and I have some real close friends, and spending time with them, get your mind off of things. But yeah, it can get hard. And what kind of advice would you give people, and what can kind of help that they could seek out for like having mental health issues?
My advice would be to, one, seek somebody who doesn't have basically like a therapist. They don't know you, and they're there to listen, and they're not a friend, right? So they have a lot of experience, and they can give you advice from a third-party perspective. Definitely have, a solid group of friends and family that can help. And for me, it's prayer and finding happiness by myself. Because if you can't find happiness within yourself and you look for it in other people, it'll never work. And
That's
I believe,
true.
a lot of my healing came through working on myself first.
That
And
makes sense.
my tutu used to tell me this, and I would never understand it. She said, you can't help others if you can't help yourself. So when I committed suicide years ago, I
Try
did it.
to commit suicide.
Sorry, when I attempted
Because you're
to commit
still here.
suicide. Sorry, when I attempted to commit suicide. See, I'm
There
here.
you go.
Not perfect. When I attempted to commit suicide, I did it with just a therapist, and the therapist at the time I didn't feel helped. It was luckily, I didn't even have to take medicine because I took so much pills. I was actually just the sound of pills in a bottle or the sight of it. It was like having PTSD. So I used to listen to this song by Destiny's Child called Survivor, and it actually helped me, and having faith. And I guess somehow, the therapist that I had, that, helped a little bit, but I really tried to work on myself on my own, and, it helped tremendously. And now we have the internet. And I think we're about the same age, right, Dad? So back then, the internet wasn't even a thing. And I grew up, in a library with my tutu, surrounded by books and encyclopedias, and that's all we really had, or the TV. But now you can get help online. You can get free help. You can just, call numbers. And so there's so many options. But I think at the core of it is you need to work within yourself and surround yourself with the right people, the right things. Your environment plays a huge part of it. It's not just your physical environment, is what you read, what you watch,
What I notice is what a huge problem is with people that have mental health is they keep it to themselves. And when I help like a friend or somebody who's going through it, I let them know that it's okay to feel shitty or to have weird feelings and issues. It's okay to not be afraid to talk about it and be comfortable to understand those problems and feelings are part of life, and you can kind of get through it, but you have to be able to kind of talk about it and seek help. It's okay. Like, it's okay to feel shitty. It's okay to get help if you feel shitty. Like, some people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about my problems, or they just bury it down. And like, it's okay to not bury it down, or not to be always have a wall and feel strong and tough. It's okay to be vulnerable and let people know, like, oh, this is bothering me, or this is kind of what I'm going through. And for me, once I was able to like talk to my friends about issues that I had, it became easy to talk about, and then it became something where I didn't even have to anymore. But the biggest thing was like letting people know it's okay, and it's not something that only they're going through. Get other people going through it, and there's people, and like you said, there's a lot of avenues to where you can get help. And getting help is, like you said, can be a click of a mouse. It could be a phone call, but those two things could probably change your life. So might as well try it out. You know what I mean?
And you're right. I used to keep it in. I didn't tell anyone. Nobody even knew. And it was a shock to everyone. So I would definitely say, that's another thing, to not keep it in and to let people know. But for
No.
me, I tried my best to work on myself and not have to rely on drugs,
Yes.
medication to make myself better. Your mind is a powerful thing.
Yes, it is. It's stronger than most people know. And honestly, like, your mind can control your feelings, and if you kind of figure out how to do it, then it may work in your favor. Like for me, I had to go through a divorce and a custody battle, and like it was rough. And once my mindset changed, because I forced it to, it was like literally turning a switch on and off. Like once I turned it on, I became myself again, and it was that easy once I did it. So, I mean, you're right. Your mind is strong, and your mind can overcome anything, but it can work in a negative way too. It can consume you with negative energy. You just got to learn how to use it. And there are things out there that can give you tricks and tips and things where you can learn how to use it in your favor. I'm sure.
And it's about education too, right? Education it's easier to get now. Like we were limited back then, and I feel so old saying that, but we were limited to the information that we could get. Now it's online, and almost everything is online. I mean, people are buying groceries online, or on your phone you can get information through an app. So
you can meet girls online.
oh my gosh.
That's why my club business is not as good as it used to be.
I have no comment.
Yep. Anybody can meet each other online. They don't gotta come out.
Yeah, you can help online.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And I do understand, like how you said you were bullied. I was bullied too. I was small and people used to pick on me, and honestly I learned to fight back, and that's what kind of got me through it. And honestly, they say fighting doesn't solve anything, but it kind of does. Like I would get bullied, I'd fight them, and they ended up never bothering me again or actually becoming my friend after. But people may disagree.
The best revenge is to just take care of yourself and, move forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had to learn the hard way too, right?
Yeah.
And I am, practicing what I preach when I go to elementary. And when I talked about being bullied at the elementary, it's not the school's fault. It's not the kid's fault. And, as much as I got teased for my French name, I used to hate my name, to be honest. I almost changed my name.
Really? Was Camille?
So it rhymes with chameleon and camel, and that's what they used to call me.
Well, try having Thaddeus as a name.
I can't think of anything. I mean, it's so that's unique.
I know. And then
I don't know another Thaddeus.
Short for Thaddeus would be Thad. And then I would get Tad, and then Tadpole, and all. Like, yeah, I understand.
But kids are,
kids are damaging sometimes.
Yeah.
So, like, you go into the schools and stuff, and you kind of are involved with an organization, right? You mentioned earlier Echelon.
Yeah.
So what is that about? Like, how does that work?
Echelon is the Young Advisory Board of the Salvation Army. I was blessed to be one of the founding members about 5 years ago. And we started this thing called the Red Pencil Project. And so there are 3 schools that we go to. One that we frequent a lot is Ka'ulavela Elementary. And we have 4 times a year we go there. And we do different projects with them. So if there is like the subject, for that quarter is compassion. We teach them compassion. We go in there and we do activities with them. We might read a book on compassion and have them maybe draw a picture of what compassion looks like. And we also donate school supplies to them. And even though it's COVID right now, we had to think differently of how we could still continue this red pencil project. And so we did a little video, and all the board members did it from the comfort of their own home, sent a little message, and we had made an appointment and dropped off some school supplies according to whatever was on their list that they needed. And so
that's awesome.
That's how we're involved with the schools.
So this Echelon is a group of you guys then?
Yes, it's a group of young leaders that are rising up to serve not only our community, but the Salvation Army.
Wait, how young?
I believe there is an age limit. I think it's 25 to 40.
So if you're past, like, say you're like 39 and you're in Echelon, you turn 40, you get booted out. Like, how does that work?
Not necessarily, no. We have a couple of board members that are a little bit older than that. And it's just to get the younger generation involved and excited, and to continue leaving these legacies for the next generations to come. And I also was able to get onto the National Echelon Board when the year that I became Miss Asia. I didn't know we had a National Echelon Board, and so I applied, and I've been doing that for a little over a year.
Oh, that's awesome. And I noticed, like, on your Instagram, you go to food drives, you do a lot of community service, and you give a lot of yourself, and that seems to make you happy, right?
Yeah, my tutu instilled that in me when I was really young, and she used to tell me it doesn't matter how much or how little you have, but you should always give, whether it's of your time, your talent, financially. And so I truly enjoy it, and I just want to continue her legacy, and positively inspire and impact as many younger people that I can.
Well, you seem to like it, and it seems like
I love it.
Yeah. And it seems like you like kids also. So, I mean, you're going in the right direction. It's kind of going to be interesting to see how this whole thing comes out, like, in the years to come, and like see what you have done over that time. So we're going to have to do this again for sure.
Definitely.
So you give of yourself so much. So what do you do other than salsa, like, on your free time? What do you like to do?
Don't tease me. I like to read. I grew up in a library, like I said, right? I don't even know how to use the remote control, and I have a TV in my room. I'm just not interested in TV. So I'm into books, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. And when I'm not dancing, I'm working out. So, I really maximize my time. And since last year, I purposely try to find stillness, and I need to have some kind of balance, right? Because
for sure,
life is about balance, and so I try to find that quiet time. And I've been.
Where do you go?
In my room. Maybe I'll go to the beach. Yeah,
I notice you're at the beach a lot, right?
Not as much.
Oh, well, weather's kind of junk nowadays, but
yeah. Or even being in nature. So I love to hike. And there's just something about being in nature that's so beneficial for your soul.
Yeah, for
Good
sure. I'm
one.
the same way. Like I like to hike, but I hardly ever go, and I like to be at the beach a lot. Like I always used to spend a lot of time at the beach, but like you said, not as much now. It's something I gotta make sure I do. My daughter is probably the one that motivates me to go to the beach because she's a little fish and she loves the beach. So every time she wants to go, it's hard for me to say no, and then it becomes a day, and then I realize like this is what I always love to do once I'm there. But yeah, I definitely understand you gotta find balance,
Mhm.
and like you seem to be running it hard, like doing so much, like you definitely need some time for yourself. But yeah, we've been going for almost an hour. I think boy band John can give us the question of the week.
Question of the week. Question of the week is, kind of just mentioned it right now, but what are your 3 favorite beaches you'd like to go to? 3 favorite
My three,
in
my three
in
favorite
in Oahu or anywhere.
in Oahu.
in Oahu. Okay.
In
You want
Oahu.
me to go first or you want to go first?
Oh, we're all answering this?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you go first, Dad?
Okay, 3 favorite beaches. Let's see. Well, first off, I would have to say Makapu. I mean, I grew up surfing there or bodyboarding there. That was one of my favorite spots. And I spent a lot of time bodyboarding at Makapu. I would say, wow, that's kind of a hard one. I would say, my daughter loves Kailua Beach and Lani Kai. So I'd have to say that because I got to spend a lot of time with her there. So I guess that would become one of my favorite ones. And probably Sandy's. I mean, not just for the beach. Like we're always or used to party there and just have fun at Sandy's. Like Sandy's was always the spot to be at. So I would say Makapu, Lani Kai, and Sandy's.
In that order?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm probably forgetting some, and I'm probably like tomorrow being like, I should have said that beach. But I guess that'll be my 3 as of right now. Okay, your turn.
So you said one of mine. It would be Lani Kai.
Oh,
For the sunset, and it's so picturesque. It feels like you're in a painting. It feels so surreal.
you know one
Um,
thing that's junk about Lani Kai,
One thing that's
and when I was growing up, like hardly anybody knew about it. And with this whole social media now, you can tag people and tag the places you're at. And if you've been recently, it's like being at Ala Moana, and it's like so many people there. And like honestly, a lot of those people there like are younger girls, and they're spending 90% of the time trying to take
take a
pictures.
picture.
Yeah, and they're
It's all
worried
about
so
the
much.
gram.
Yeah, but they're worried, like you said, like your best time at the pageant was when your phone broke because you were in the moment. Like in my opinion, like I'm sitting there watching these girls not even enjoying one of the nicest beaches on the planet just because they want to show everybody that they're there on Instagram. I literally watched, like the last time I was there, 4 different groups spend their whole time there taking pictures of each other and left. And I'm like, they didn't even experience the beach. But I don't know. That's my gripe. Anyway, go ahead.
Aren't you glad during our time we grew up with just a pager?
Yeah.
We got to be in the moment for
Yeah, because then
all
you
of
have
those
to run
years,
around trying to find a payphone.
right? Or like those big battery phones. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
My second favorite beach, or is this in order? My second beach.
No. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of my second favorite beaches on Oahu has to be Yokes, aka Yokohama,
Oh,
or
that's a good one.
sunset. I'm a sucker
Oh,
for
yeah.
sunset. So, I mean, besides the fact that surf, is great out there, and
That's a
even
perfect place for sunset.
one of my favorite hikes is at the end of Yokes. But that would be another one.
That's a good
And
one. I wouldn't have expected you to say that one.
Yokes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love Yokes. And my third would be a clandestine spot on the North Shore.
Wait, try to say that word again.
A clandestine spot on the North Shore.
What is clandestine?
A secret spot. It means secret.
Okay.
Secret
So I learned
location.
2 words today. That's awesome.
Oh. What was the first word?
Something om.
At least that was part of, what she remembered. So it's
Have it on video. Do you remember it, John?
It was like Lagerman, Lagermine?
Lagomom.
Lagom.
Lagom.
Yeah.
And clandestine. I'm going to have to write that down. Hey, that's cool, man.
I'll spell it for you later. I used to be such a bookworm, and I learned a lot from reading, and I have to give credit to my tutu.
That's awesome.
She didn't have anything past a high school level education, and so she instilled education in me because we spent so much time together.
That makes sense. That's 2 new words I learned today. That's awesome. So this beach in North Shore, it's a secret beach. You can't that's probably what it should be. Like even hikes now, everybody knows where they are.
Right.
And yeah, super disappointing. But keep it a secret. If that's your secret beach,
it's gonna be a secret. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't be tagging where you're at and all that stuff, because next thing you know, it'll be 30
you gotta keep
tourists and people. Yep.
You gotta keep people guessing. Gotta keep it curious.
Yeah. All right, so that pretty much is it. Anything else you want to talk about? I think we covered a lot of stuff tonight. That's it? You're good?
Yeah. It didn't even feel like an hour.
I know. That's usually the case, and then a couple hours go by, and it's pretty cool. So on Instagram, they can find you where?
At Camille and Co.
Okay. And Echelon, is there an Instagram for that also?
Yes, Echelon HI. So Echelon is spelled ECHELON.
Okay. So people can get involved with that, or they need to be brought in, or anybody can kind of try and seek it out?
Currently, we are not looking for board members, but we are always looking for members who, want to help out whenever we have an opportunity, but can't make the commitment that a board member would have to make. So definitely a member. And
that's awesome.
If you want to check out the national board, that would be Salvation Army Echelon. I believe that's their Instagram.
Okay, cool. And for us, as always, you can find us on the web at ATBpod.com, Instagram, Above the Bridge Podcast, and all our videos are on YouTube at Above the Bridge Pod. Also, go follow our producer, Boy Band John, please. He has some crazy stuff on his Instagram. It's kind of fun to watch. That's BBJ8, the letter 08 on Instagram. Boy Band John. Yes, follow him. He's too humble. Anyway, thank you for coming on our show. That's super awesome that you could do this. And I'm happy you could make it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Dad. You're awesome.
Thank you. All right. Well, as always, shout out to the Artist Groove Network. And that's it. Thank you very much. Aloha.
Peace.
All right.